Hi. Sorry, take two. Got a weird connection there and lost it. Hi, I am Jamie from Horizons Like Coaching, your adulting coach to help you navigate through the craziness of adulting and that awful, crazy, wonderful, strange, odd world that we live in and enter into as young adults and teens and 20-somethings and all of that. We are talking again about money this month. So last week we talked about our money stories and learning to really take some time and think about and journal and identify what money stories you are holding and what money stories might be blocking you from receiving the money and the wealth that you deserve to have in your life. So we're still talking about, shifting those ideas of going from the negative money stories that have been ingrained in yourself, in your mind, in your mindset, and shifting into this idea, this understanding that money is a positive tool, an energy that is intended to help you. Money is entirely a man-made concept. It only exists because we believe it does. And we need to believe that it exists to help us and to be open to receiving it so that we can do the good in our world that we want to do, because money just makes that a lot easier. It's not that money is life and money is everything you want to work towards, but it is important, and it's important to talk about and to get honest with yourself about what you feel and how you connect to money. So that is kind of what we're doing. And remember, there will be our exciting news is that come mid to end of May, and I will be sending information out about it soon, we will be doing a book club / group coaching for a small fee. And we will be doing that based on the book Richard Paul Evans, The 5 Lessons a Millionaire Taught Me. So it'll be fun. And we'll talk a lot more in depth about all the stuff that we're talking about this month in the Facebook Live videos. And please don't forget, always, take a minute and write your questions in the comments, share the video to your friends, get them to come follow me, and we can learn together. So if you have any questions or you want to talk about money or anything adulting wise, definitely drop those ideas and thoughts and questions in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about it in a future Facebook Live. And so today, though, I wanted to talk about 5 money things you must do as you shift from teenager to adult, and even if you're already in the throes of adulthood, because I cannot even begin to tell you how many 20-something-year-olds come in and they don't realize what it is that they should be doing with their money, what they should have already gotten started. So we're going to talk about 5 things that that you want to make sure that you're doing, just simple, basic setup steps to start you on your way to a very profitable life and a wealthy life that you deserve to live. So, number 1, most basic, most obvious, and yet so many people haven't done this by the time they're 18, even some people by the time they're 20 or 22, make sure that you have a checking and savings account, both of them. I like to have it at the same bank. I use M&T, and there's different banks and all of that. You can do some research. There's often even some promotions. Often if you open up a checking account, they'll actually give you like $500 to open a savings account with them. Sometimes there are things that you need to keep in mind depending on the bank and where you're at in your financial journey. Like you might have to have a minimum amount of money in your savings account. So there's a lot of things to know and think about when you have a checking and savings account, things that we'll talk about a little bit more in depth in our book club group coaching calls, but we're just kind of touching on the basics here today. But make sure you have that checking and savings account and use them. have a place where you can save money. That was the first, last, and middle everything my grandfather told me when I was growing up. He was an amazing old farmer, smart as a whip, stubborn as anything, very cantankerous, but we loved him. And the first, last, and everything he always said to me when we visited in Illinois was, save your money, save your money, save your money. And it is so important to have that savings, that lump of money that you know that you can go to if anything happens. That's what has gotten me through this pandemic after losing my position because of COVID. I had that savings that I have not had to overly stress about my finances because of that, and for so many other reasons. So have that checking and savings account. Savings account, things to think about too. Your savings account is generally going to have a higher interest rate, which means by just leaving that money in your savings account, you're going to make money. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's really crappy. Depends on your bank, the market, all of those things. Again, we'll talk more about it in our group coaching calls. So that's number one. Number two, figure out a way that works for you to track your money. Budgeting. You need to know what money is coming into you and what money is going out. You need to know and be aware at all times of what is happening with your money. It's just like monitoring what you're eating and being healthy with your intake of food and all of that. You need to monitor and pay attention to this money. We spend our whole life working and working and working to bring in money, and yet so many people don't even spend an hour or two a month just to figure out where the money is going. You have to be responsible with your money. You want to know where you're spending, where it's coming from, where it's going. And once you understand that, that can help you budget and figure out where to put your money, where to hold the money, where to section off, all of that. So because of the tracking and budgeting that I do, and if you join the group coaching club, you will get a couple like sample budgeting flyers and stuff like that. But there's stuff all over the place that can help you with that. So I know exactly how much year to year over the years, what my average spending is. I know that at minimum, I need to have this amount of money so that I can at least pay all my bills and be comfortable and safe and not have to, squeeze the belt too much. And then I have the goal for what I'd like to add in for savings, investment, and all of that. So know where your money is going. Have something that you spend every month. You get those banking and checking, all of those statements. Track where that money is going. Even the cash, especially the cash, because that's easy to disappear. But it's so, so, so important. All right, third thing, know your credit score. Know how it goes up and down. So your credit score is something, and this is one thing that I've found a lot of people don't really understand and don't know about. Your credit score is what is going to give you the ability to buy a house, to buy a car, to get higher rates and lower interest rates on credit cards, all of that. So your credit score is going to enable you to do and get the things you want in your life. So I am personally a proponent of just buy a house. I'm not big on the apartment or the renting thing because I think it's smarter in the long run, though I know it's not for everybody. I just feel like it's more of an investment and you're not just throwing money to somebody else, but it's not always possible depending on where you live and your circumstances. But if you want to get a house or you want to get a car, they're going to look at your credit score. Your credit score goes up when you pay all your bills on time consistently. It goes up if the longer you have a credit history, which we'll talk about in your next point. So the longer you have a credit history, it will go up. It will go up when you have a low balance on credit cards and higher balances in your savings. and it will go down if you have lots of credit cards, if you have high credit card debt, if you owe a lot of money, all of those things. So it will go down for those reasons. So ideally, I think the max is like around 800. I think my credit score is like 760, 775, something like that. So ideally, you want to have a credit score of at least 600 to 650. The way you get there is number 4. So number 4, you need to get a credit card. Okay, now I say this carefully. I think I've got comments coming in. Oh, hi Sage, hi Hassam. Hi, good to see you guys. And I think somebody else is on there, but I can't see. Sorry, the messages don't come in very clearly. But yeah, so your credit card. So I say this with a grain of salt. Credit cards are really, really important and really, really can be dangerous if you don't use them responsibly. So how do you use a credit card responsibly? So 1, get it at age 18. As soon as you're able to open up a credit card, get a credit card and use it at least once. If you're not comfortable with using a credit card, if you don't feel like you can trust yourself, then just buy one thing, pay off the credit card, and you don't have to use it ever again. But having that credit card is starting your credit journey. It's starting that credit history to say, hey, this person has a credit card, they borrowed money to pay for this thing, and they paid it back, so we can trust them. So your credit score goes up. The longer you have and the longer you have a good relationship with that credit card, then that will allow your credit score to go up, which allows you to get lower interest rates on your house, on your car, on loans, any and all of those things. So super important. With a credit card. So me, I tend to pay for everything with my credit card because of a few reasons. So 1, I have a credit card that gives me cash back. So for all the money I spend, even the things that I have to spend money on, like my heating bill, I run it through an automatic payment on my credit card, and I get 1%. So if I'm paying $100, I get, I mean, it only seems like a little bit, $1, but it adds up. And each year I actually get $400 to $500 back, basically essentially free money from my credit card because I get cash back. So that's one benefit to paying for things with credit cards. Second benefit is you have an automatic tracking of where you're spending your money. So I go through my credit card bill each month and I make sure that I'm not, 1, getting charged for things that I shouldn't be, like a double charge by accident or something like that. So I always have that record, and I can know I can know again where my money is going. So I can understand, this is how much I spend each month on gas. This is how much I spend each month on groceries. This is how much I spend each year on medical bills, So all of those things allow me to be more aware of where my money goes. Girls, sorry. So that's the other benefit. But here's the trick. If you use a credit card, never, ever, ever pay interest. I never pay interest. I always pay my credit card off in full at the end of every month. Once you start carrying a balance in a credit card, and if you just pay the minimum payment, as soon as you start doing that, you're going to start falling into debt. Their credit cards interest rates are so super high, and the minimum doesn't even cover the interest. So you're not even bringing each month to month, you're not even bringing your balance down by paying the minimum. You're simply chucking off a little bit of that interest that they've already tagged on. So if you get into that habit, that's a very, very dangerous way to go. Never spend more than you know that you have in your bank account. Ever. Always, unless obviously there's like an emergency, like a medical emergency, God forbid, or anything like that. And things happen. But as much as possible with those little average everyday kind of things, you know, gonna go for a shopping spree or something like that, know how much money you can spend so that you can still pay it off at the end of the month. And never pay interest. So in that way, with the cash back, you're making money, you're tracking your money, and you're improving your credit score all by using a credit card. One credit card, only one. The more inquiries and the more credit cards that you have, the lower your credit score will go. So try to keep 1-2 credit cards maximum. So that's the deal with credit cards. Again, we'll talk more about this in our book club group coaching. And if you have any questions, please put them down below and let me know what your questions are. And the fifth tip I'm going to give you today is to save for the future. A lot of people don't start thinking about retirement and their future until they're in their 30s. And by that time, you've already lost 10 years, which can add up to tens of thousands of dollars that you could have had ready for you to save for when you are retired and able to enjoy your life, right? So you want to make sure that you are every year maxing out your Roth IRA. And again, we'll talk more about this in the group coaching. You want to set up a 401k or a 302b, 304b, some sort of numbers. But you want to make sure, and if nothing else, at least always taking a portion of your paycheck, put it in your savings, even if it's $5 a month, put it in a special place, not underneath your bed. Don't do it. Just don't. No. In a special savings account, or get a financial advisor. They're free and they love to help you and give you good advice if they're good. Be careful, you know. But make sure that you are saving and putting even $5 a month. It's a start, and it's going to start building you to be ready for, one, any emergencies that happen later in life, and 2, for your retirement, so you don't have to work until you're 95 years old, because, dude, that would suck. You know I'm right. So the sooner, the younger you start saving and putting into a 401k or 302, whatever that 302b is, and your Roth IRA, the younger you are to start investing in that, you're going to be set. Right? You want to be, as soon as possible, you want to be fully funded for your future. All right. We'll talk more about this. But yes, so next week we'll talk more about money. I have a question. What do you think about the current house market? That's a complicated question. I know a couple really fabulous realtors. If you are looking, I can definitely hook you up with an amazing woman. And I know that right now it is, I think it's the seller's market. So houses are going like that right now. And I think that's to the benefit of the buyer. I can't remember, sorry. But I will always say that I went straight from when I was living with my parents, and I went straight into, once I left home, after college, I went straight into my own house, because for one thing, I had 3 dogs, so I needed to have a house. But I am now, and I will tell you, by the time I was 30, I was debt free. I don't have student loans. I don't have credit card debt. I don't have a mortgage. I've paid off my house. I don't have a car debt. I've paid off my car. All by the time I'm 30, because I followed these guidelines and these practices, and been very, very conscious about my money, and also been very blessed and fortunate in my careers and positions and all of that. But there are ways that you can, no matter what your position, you can make money work for you. But I always believe in buying a home rather than renting, because rent is generally more expensive than a mortgage. And a mortgage, though you do have some added expenses like insurance and all of that, A mortgage allows you to start building escrow, which means you can then take that and then use that to purchase your next house if you want to go from a starting home to a better home as you get older. Lucky I got thrown into this. I'm not sure what you got thrown into, Sage, but yes, maybe some luck, but a lot of hard work too. And it's possible for any and everyone. And sometimes you need to clean a little house to get through financial difficulties, and especially doing that mindset and money story work. But it's doable. Everybody can do it. Some people have to work a little harder, just like with anything, with happiness and depression and all of that. Some people have to work a lot harder than others. But yeah, so yeah. Those, I am way over my time now. Sorry, guys. But I do like talking about this and sharing a lot of this information that I've learned and been fortunate enough to figure out as I go, always having the places to go. So if you have more questions, please put them in the comments and I will respond, and we will talk more about it. And I hope when I put up for the book club group coaching that you will join me. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. I will see you later. Bye-bye.